Hello again, everyone. I've got a new video, and this one is about records. I haven't done a record collecting video in a while, and this is about my recent vinyl acquisitions and other things I've found recently, but mostly vinyl. First, I want to get to the stuff that's not vinyl, and this is one of them. This is a Roxy Music CD box set that my good friend Nick Chisillo picked up for me. It's amazing, and I only had one or two Roxy Music albums in my collection, and I think they were just on CD. But now I have their entire discography. Look at this, great packaging. Each of the albums is in this cool, glossy, gatefold packaging, right? One CD in each package. All the albums here, plus, as a bonus, there's this unreleased stuff, demos, B-sides kind of thing in here. I love it. I listened to this whole box set within a couple of sittings while I was doing some work recently. And Nick, I really appreciate it. I love it. I needed to learn more about Roxy Music, and now, man, I'm blown away about the variety of their works. I was only really familiar with the popular stuff, the really romantic kind of I guess synth pop or new wave that they did, but they had some pretty interesting stuff early on their early records. So thank you, Nick, for that. Another CD that I picked up recently, a band that I've loved since I was a teenager, Gizm from Japan, 1980s early hardcore stuff. Now, I did recently pick this up on vinyl at my favorite record store in Raleigh, Sorry State Records, maybe a few months ago. Loved it so much that when I saw that Sorry State had the CD version, which they very rarely carry CDs, I had to pick it up. Comes in this cool slipcase. There's the record art. I love it though. If you like frantic, maniacal punk rock from the 80s, this is your stuff right there. Now, moving on to the vinyl acquisitions of late. Thanks to my friend Tavi in Finland, I now have the Cardiacs on physical format media. I have never owned the Cardiacs on any kind of physical format media. Now I have this beautiful 7-inch from 1982. It's a UK pressing. Super, super excited to have this. Thank you, Tavi. I will be doing a needle drop on this later on in this video. Next up is a very limited release by one of my favorite bands, certainly my favorite southern punk rock band. Anti-Scene released this very limited edition custom cut lathe record. Now, it's a very limited, square, clear, custom cut, handmade basically, and mine is number 3 of 50. And the title of this is This Ain't No Sinking Ship. And it's recorded from a rehearsal session in Charlotte, North Carolina in 2019, and needle drops on this coming at the end of this video as well. Now, this was a pretty cool vinyl find. Flexi disc, a flexi disc that I found between a couple of records at a thrift store or a flea market. So I picked it up because it's from Keyboard Magazine in 1987. And it's got the band that I love, Controlled Bleeding, on it. The last track there, Controlled Bleeding. Controlled Bleeding is were a very harsh industrial noise band when they first started out in the mid, creeping into the late 80s. Then they turned into kind of a dancey club band, a lot of beats. But this is the stuff that I like, their noise. And I'll give you a needle drop on this later as well. But what a cool find to find that in such great shape. Now, this next vinyl find is something that at least a couple of friends of mine in the VC were aware of before I was, namely Ryan Kidd. I guess he mentioned it in a video that I missed. He must have mentioned it a couple of months ago. And recently, when I was in Sorry State Records with a couple of other VCers, Eric Bauer and Metal Theologian and Ground Zero Salem, so we were in the store, and I picked this up, and I was like, oh, look at this. And I think Eric Bauer said something like, oh, yeah, that looks like Ryan Kidd's kind of stuff. Or he said, oh, yeah, Ryan Kidd mentioned that. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I was like, oh, just looking at it going, this looks pretty cool. So the next time I went back to Sorry State, I picked it up. And when I got home, I realized it's on the same label as one of my favorite new punk bands, Schizo's Also thanks to Ryan Kidd and my friend Deadwax. They turn me on to this kind of stuff all the time, and as does Vinyl Richie. Anyway, this record rules. It's kind of like a lo-fi, spazzy electronic punk outfit, and it's great. It's, if you like schizos, I think you'll like this. Needle drops on this coming up, and you can see it's just the black vinyl version. I believe there's also a colored vinyl version. But yeah, I love it. I'm tending to dig a lot of things on Sweet Time label, so I'm going to keep checking them out. And I love the rudimentary, simple graphics. I just dig it a lot. So check that out. And speaking of Sweet Time and Schizos, I have just about the whole Schizos collection. Thanks to my friend Ryan Anderson, I got this debut Schizos record some time ago, their first album. I also, in that same package, got their Top of the Food Chain live cassette, which is great. I also got their Schizos Live in Atlanta, very limited CDR. As you see, mine is numbered here, 5 of 50. And then also, to top it off, Ryan Anderson made sure they sent me the Schizos t-shirt. Kill them all, let Schizos sort them out. So that was a few months ago. So as I try to build my full Schizos collection, I'm only really missing the very first single they ever put out. I think it was called Fucky Pop. And then the red vinyl version of their debut album. That's the only thing that I'm missing. So I had to pick this up recently, thanks to Ryan Kidd tipping me off and Deadwax. I got Schizos' new 7-inch called Come Back with a Warrant. And it's my favorite Schizos thus far. I gotta say, every track on it's great. My favorite, I think, being Come Back with a Warrant, the B-side. It also includes I got a couple of Sweet Time label stickers here, and this fantastic white trash poster. This is great. It's just the Schizos smokes with the center on the front there. And if you zoom in, you can see the the dots per inch on that image were not made for print. That was downloaded off the internet and not really cleaned up very much, which makes it all the more Schizos to me. And yeah, it's black vinyl. I'm sure they're going to reissue this on some other kind of color vinyl at some point. They've got to, because their stuff tends to sell out really quickly these days. And I'll be doing a needle drop on that single as well. So why don't we just get into the needle drops right now? All right, needle drop coming up on this great Cardiacs record that my friend Tavi from Finland graciously sent me. I'm very, very happy about it. Let's do a couple of quick needle drops on the B-side.
The beat has the right of way. And something else is missing, sometimes sorted out and wrapped up straight away.
Yeah, they're great. They're great. Thank you again, Tavi. All right, next up, I'm going to give you a quick couple of needle drops on this very rare anti-scene lathe, custom cut square looking thing I got here. Here we go. Yeah, some good dirty southern punk rock there. Come on down. All right, let's check the second side. All right, there's the needle drops on the anti-scene. Okay, so now I'm going to do a needle drop quick one or two on this flexi disc that has controlled bleeding on it, but it's also got some other interesting stuff. But anyway, I'm going to let the needle drop. This first selection you're going to hear a little bit of is not controlled bleeding. It's the song before that. But anyway, here we go. Here's controlled bleeding. Yeah, you get the idea. That's what controlled bleeding is all about. A bunch of noise. All right, next one. All right, now I got a little taste of this for you. Research Reactor Corporation, and it's on Sweet Time, getting to be one of my favorite labels. And let's just hear a few needle drops off this cacophonous noise. Ready? Kind of reminds me of early, like, Mummies stuff. That cool organ. Okay, so there's a little taste of Research Reactor Corp for you. All right, now the grand finale. I gotta let you listen to some of this. Again, I think my favorite Skizzo's release to date. And here we go with a couple of quick needle drops on the A side. Yeah. Oh yeah, and now my favorite song, I believe, is the B-side. Come Back with a Warrant. Check this out. Yeah. It's just screaming dirty rock and roll at its best. I love this. Thank you again to the vinyl community members who hit me to this. Ryan Kidd and Deadwax. This is a pleasure to add to my collection. So thanks for being here for another one of my videos. I'll see you around next time. May the rock and roll gods bless you as they've blessed me. And if you got them, smoke them.